Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're getting way too real.
Or maybe we're just meeting great expectations.
So be our guest.
And be prepared.
Because today we're bringing you...
The Lion King, the new one.
The Lion King was released July 19th, 2019, just a solid 4 days ago from this recording, on a whopping $250 million budget. It has already, in just 4 days, made $534.6 million worldwide, just in an opening weekend. We're looking at a 53% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience rating, and just a low 5 on Metacritic. But more important than all of that, we are joined today by the #1 Lion King scholar in all the land, in all the Pride lands. Joins us none other than Isaac Carlson. Isaac, welcome back to the show.
Dude, thanks for having me again, guys. I was very excited I would be able to come back on for this episode specifically. This is the movie I've talked about the most on my channel.
Is it really?
This one?
Yes.
Like the original, though, or this one?
Well, like the Lion King in general.
Like a combined effort.
Yeah, combined.
Like the Lion King family of products.
Yes.
Because you talk about the sequels as well, correct?
Oh, yeah. Lion King, it's Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. We got Lion King 1.5 or Lion King 3 if you're in a different country. The show, the books. I talk about everything. So.
I'll be straight up with you. I will tell you guys honestly and with a full heart, I have never seen a single second of any of the sequels.
No, me neither.
Not a minute.
Wait, that's not true. There's a scene where Timon and Pumbaa and Simba are sitting in like a jacuzzi, and it's like bubbling, right? Mm-hmm. And they're talking, and then Pumbaa gets out and the bubbles go away.
Yeah, that's in Lion King 1.5.
Nailed it.
Yes. Well, before I got into doing YouTube, I hadn't seen Lion King 2, at least in my memory, because that was not one that I owned on VHS. So that was one that it was people were interested in it, and I was interested in exploring it. So that's how I got into exploring more of the lore, because I had questions. So, yeah.
Now, do you have a degree as the world's top Lion King scholar?
I would love to be able to get my doctorate in Lion King knowledge about the circle of life. Currently don't have any official degree,
Isaac,
though.
Hey, Isaac,
yes.
That's called biology.
Well,
they renamed that somewhere around, I don't know, the 14th century.
Well, I've taken AP Bio, so I've accomplished as much as I could in high school, at least.
That's exactly
but
right.
I'm saying is that's the thing you could do your doctorate in. Is the
you
circle
could even
of
become
life.
a doctor.
Yeah, I'd rather.
Although, I was just gonna say, most doctors try to prevent the circle of life. Their end game in the medical doctor field is to stop the circle of life from happening.
Yes, we are fighting
at least
against
to slow its progress.
Immortality for humans or bust.
Heck yeah.
I think, and this is way off topic, but I think if you did a Family Feud survey of 100 doctors, that absolutely none of them would say that their goal when they get up every day is to advance immortality among humans.
I'd say 1.
It would be under 2.
I feel I wonder what the percentage is of people choosing it because they thought it was going to be a high-paying job, and the people that just wanted to help people. I'm sure there's a blend of that, but everyone, I'm sure, falls on that spectrum somewhere.
Yes, I'm certain that everyone falls on that spectrum somewhere. I feel at some level, you got to decide, am I okay with these awful hours until I can have a private practice?
Well, here's the thing. I feel on some level, we have to give a positive and negative review from professional critics, and then we have to talk binary reviews on The Lion King, and then we have to talk about The Lion King.
All right. Do you have a negative review for me, Ethan?
I do. Actually, you just deleted it off of our page, but thank you.
No, I didn't.
You deleted it off the page I was looking at.
It's right here at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, because I just put it back. Matthew
You want me to
Lacona.
delete it? No, I deleted it.
and then you typed Z.
I was trying to Control Z it back.
Matthew Lacona, familiar face here on the show, of the San Diego Reader, usually a guy I think read by Tyler. I think he usually likes movies. Matthew Lacona of the San Diego Reader says, by this point, Disney's do-overs feel a lot like their cash-grabby, inspiration-free 90s direct-to-video sequels, only with vastly better production values.
This is stupid. That's such a vanilla-ass response, Ethan. No, it's so stupid. These are... listen, I don't care if they're cash-grabby. They were cash-grabby in the 90s. Mulan, not your story. Lion King is freaking Hamlet, okay? Not your story.
I think...
What other movies are there?
Disney's just been ramping
What
up.
other movies are there? That is the thing that Tyler Carlin just said.
Beauty and the Beast? That's not your story. Cinderella? Not your story.
Who is the you in this case? Because that's someone's story.
Disney.
I don't know.
No, that's true. There was just a thing about how Pixar doesn't save any Mexicans.
What?
They didn't like pay.
That came out of nowhere.
They didn't pay anybody for their stories in Coco. Like they didn't pay anybody for their life rights.
Were they trying to?
Yeah. Who did they have to ask?
I mean, they like directly took people's lives.
Is Ernesto de la Cruz a real man?
I think they probably changed names, but generally, yeah, you like would offer some compensation when you ransack a small, poor Mexican village to try to find a kitschy story about Day of the Dead. You would generally like help those people out a little bit with your billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Disney doesn't have that much budget, Ethan, okay? They had no proper CGI on Bunked. I remember having this conversation with Tessa, so...
First of all, they just spent $250 million avoiding using animals.
Avoiding using real lions.
Second of all, Coco cost $175 million American dollars.
That's
It
nothing.
had no one in it.
Let me ask you a question, Ethan. How many pesos is that? Don't answer, but it's a lot.
A metric
Fortnite.
load.
All right, Rich Klein from Shadows on the Wall says, it looks glorious, advancing the art with its attention to grand scale and tiny detail. But much of the film is a shot-for-shot restaging, which leaves it feeling eerily familiar, offering little that's new to fans of the original. That was a positive review.
It didn't seem like it.
At the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, we're positive. Then by the end of it, I was like, wait a minute, he's not too super happy, but it's 3.5 out of 5.
Isaac, what do you think? What's your binary review? I have a feeling I already know, but on a scale of 0 to 1, 1 being you don't have to see it, and 1
being you do have to see it.
0 being you don't have to see it, 1 being you do have to see it. Where does WotsoVideos of WotsoVideos fall?
I think based on my further analysis of it later in the episode, it might not seem like I would give it this score, but I think in this case, I will give it this score. I'd give it 1. I think if you're a fan of the original and you want to see it in a new light, you'll get something from it. I don't think it's for everyone by any means, but I think for someone who enjoys seeing it, enjoys everything around it, liked going to see the Broadway, I think it was an experience that I'm glad I could at least have at least once. So I'd give it a 1.
What? That was such a hesitant one. I feel so differently than you, Isaac. I feel like because you mentioned the Broadway show, and because of the Broadway show, I give this a strong, firm 1. You absolutely should go see Lion King.
I do not see how this has anything whatsoever to do with the Broadway show.
Because people always complain. Because the early complaints coming through of this movie are like, they didn't show expression at all. When Mufasa and Scar's face in the Broadway show are literal motionless props.
Yeah, but that is not emotion. Those are not emotionless actors.
That
Mufasa,
is different because stage and show is a lot different. Like stage and feature films get a lot different.
I have seen. So I'll be straight up with you guys. I've seen the Broadway 3 times, not on Broadway, but like I've seen professional productions 3 times. One of those being on Broadway. And I have not once in my life listened to the soundtrack. Not one time. So like it is an experience that I value more than almost any other Broadway show, but I don't think it has anything to do with this movie. And I'm not going to like rest this movie on the merits of the Broadway show by any means.
I just think this was extremely good. I think the Broadway show is excellent. I think the Disney World show and Animal Kingdom is excellent.
That is.
I think this is excellent, and I think the original is excellent. I think God's movie-loving love is big enough for all Lion King properties that aren't Lion King 2 or 1.5.
That doesn't have anything to do with the point I just made. That's nothing to do with it.
But I think that's part of the point is that the Broadway show, they can't physically show emotion.
Okay,
and
but
I felt like
we'll get into how those things are different here in a second. Trust me. I would love to get into ways that people can show emotions without their face, and they just didn't in this movie. I would love to get into that, but I need to give it a binary review first.
Okay. Yes, let's hear it, Ethan.
If you love The Lion, or you even like The Lion King, and you have an interest in seeing a CGI remake of it, then it's a 1. If not, otherwise, I don't think it really adds much. It's a very, very, very soft one.
I just so enjoyed this.
I did not enjoy it, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was perfect. I understand both of these scores. I understand the critic score, and I understand the audience score. I can understand a bunch of the critics being like, I would love to give this more than a 5, but I can't. And I can also understand that a vast majority of the audience is just like, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
I think people are going in knowing that they're going to see real life looking lions fighting each other, existing in the Pride Lands. And going off of that, I can see why people get really excited leaving the theater. For me, knowing how much The Lion King resonates with me every time I watch it, or I'm going through clips or analyzing it or something like that, and going off of how I've resonated with seeing other versions like the Broadway film or the show, I feel like it just didn't hit me in very important moments like those other versions had. And with those comparisons, it was difficult to absolutely fall in love with it. I think there's some good moments that I like to talk about, but yeah, there's some beats that fall flat for sure.
Now,
there are definitely some beats that fall flat. I won't disagree with that. Mm-hmm. I will say what this has that I felt like Aladdin lacked and Beauty and the Beast lacked, as far as live action remakes go, is there are at least 2 voice parts in this film that are actually better than the original version of this film. There are parts that fall short, and there are even songs that fall short. Mm-hmm. But John Oliver and Billy Eichner are better in this movie than the original actors. I cannot remember the names.
Hard agree. I don't want to get to voice acting yet, though. Real quick. Mm-hmm. Real quick, because I think the first thing we need to talk about, I have a caveat to make, and then the first thing we need to talk about is CGI. We need to literally need to get those elephants out of the room in either direction before we can truthfully talk about this movie.
Okay.
First of all, I will say this. I am coming to this review the same way I did to Aladdin. I've seen The Lion King. I've seen it on Broadway. I do not, like, it holds no particular place in my heart, so take my review as somebody who's sort of looking at this almost as a separate entity, the same way I did with Aladdin. Now, I did not like this as much as I did Aladdin, and I would still say that on the whole, the original Lion King was better than this, whereas I felt the new Aladdin is better than the original. But there were definite improvements in this movie, and there were definite missteps in this movie, but it is, on the whole, not as good as the original.
Yeah, I would.
But I want to talk about CGI. Mm-hmm. It was freaking incredible.
That was the coolest shirt I ever seen.
Like, I was fully prepared, because I've been skeptical the whole time of a full CGI movie like this where there's no actual animals, and I don't know how, like, accurate that is or whatever. But I was skeptical of it, and then I went in, and the first freaking thing where they're, like, chasing that mouse around, not the first thing, when they're chasing that mouse around, I was like, somebody's gonna, like, David Attenborough is gonna bust in any minute and just be like, on planet Earth, it's very hard for a mouse to survive in the wild. I thought I was watching a doc. I was ready for that mouse to get eaten by a mongoose. Like, no problem. Mm-hmm. The CGI was incredible. Just absolutely photorealistic, perfect. It was incredible.
Yes.
Poor James Cameron, man.
Yeah, he made the movies way too early. But, I mean, he pushed the medium forward as well. But
so yeah,
I would like to say seeing both, like, Planet Earth, some of Blue Earth, and or Blue Planet, and all Planet Earth 2, there was a lot of moments where this, like, it felt reminiscent of those types of shots, like having those time-lapsing shots going through,
definitely,
and how they recorded or had moments where it felt like someone was actually recording the lines made it feel more real. I thought that was a very cool cinematic touch.
I would 100% agree with you there. I also think that there were shots in here that the best National Geographic or Discovery Channel photographer would shirt his pants over getting.
Yes, because it's an entirely different filmmaking procedure that they use.
Right.
You can't, and this is the reality of why they didn't use these animals, is like, you cannot in the wild set up shots like that. Like the elephant isn't just gonna do exactly what you want it to do.
Right. Mm-hmm. The circle of life sequence, like, you're not gonna get, you're obviously not gonna get
the
animals
gazelles
to bow.
like dance like that. It's not gonna happen.
Right. Oh man, but that circle of life sequence was sweet.
So I watched just today, just for a little bit of comparison, I watched like 11 minutes of Avatar, just to see what it looks like after having watched The Lion King. And I can officially say we are at the point where Avatar no longer holds up from a CGI perspective.
Where there's better CGI out there now?
Yeah, it has officially been dethroned as like the gold standard of what a like heavily CGI movie could look like. And I think that it is still like Avatar's still a Disney property. There's four more coming out over the next 5 or 6 years, and I think those are just going to in turn look that much better because of the strides that have been made in the last 10 years. And it is, Avatar's 10 years old, but it officially no longer looks real after seeing this movie.
Sure.
And granted, real is a stretch with the planet they're on in Avatar, Pandora, because it's not
That's
real.
so mean, Bush.
Because it's not real. But anyway, the CGI in this movie, incredible. I would hire Jon Favreau to direct a National Geographic documentary.
Oh, wow. The CGI really does not hold up. I'm going to send you a video on the Joe YouTube that you can watch. It definitely looks like a very good Final Fantasy game in Avatar. It's good. I mean, I can 100% imagine suspending your disbelief watching this movie.
Oh no, for sure. But like, you didn't have to suspend your belief with this movie with Lion King at all. The CGI was like it was perfect to the point that like I could not. There were times where I forgot that it wasn't real.
There was a few times where there was like long shots that were held where it like didn't feel that way as much. Like I could recognize more that this is not naturally how lions and warthogs and meerkats move. But I think for the most part, they made sure that this felt extremely natural for all these animals to move in the way they did. Even when it was doing goofy things, like singing The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and they all come together. So
right, and that was their whole point, is they were going for pure photorealism over, movie magic.
Yes.
And that's what's created a lot of the complaints about this movie.
Which I understand that people, it's very easy to say one is much more expression, has much more expression, and is full of more life because of the medium of animation. But that was not their goal, to meet that. And in that way, they succeeded, that they made something. They
definitely succeeded, but in my opinion, and it does not necessarily ruin the movie for me, but it did for some people, it causes some scenes to definitely fall flat.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. It didn't make a better movie because they succeeded in that necessarily. That didn't warrant it being seen as something better, but they did it, which is a feat.
I think what you've got here almost is like, can we take I would say in the scheme of like big time Hollywood directors, people who are out of the indie circle, right? Big deal Hollywood directors. Jon Favreau is about as like middle of the line as it gets.
Yeah.
Like Elf is good. Iron Man, exceptional, but he's also had some like misses, right?
Yeah.
If you take the most like middle of the road director with the most established story ever, and you just try to make it as photorealistic as possible, almost as like a project, like how real can we make this look? If that was the project you walked into the pitch meeting with, I think you succeed with flying colors.
I think you do, but I think that you left a lot of other pieces of the movie hanging out to dry when you did that.
Yes, because The Lion King didn't succeed because it felt like a look into the animal kingdom.
Right. It succeeded because it was the best telling of Hamlet ever.
Well, it succeeded because you had people that brought life to the parts.
Yes.
Well, and you had like animators who gave like a ton of emotion to these characters. And,
and that combined for something good. And in this case, you had animators that were just working on actual warthogs, basically.
Right.
And lions. And then you had people who were not professional voice actors doing a job that should have been done by a professional voice actor.
For the most part, I will agree.
For the most part, yeah. There were some exceptions. Like, I don't know what Billy Eichner's history with voice acting is. I have no idea. I also, for some reason, had it in my head that there was no way he was going to be able to sing. He has a beautiful voice.
That dude can sing. Yeah, he can sing better than anyone else in this movie.
He started singing. I guess it was Hakuna Matata, the first song that comes up. Yeah, from them.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it was beautiful. It had like a nice soft vibrato, and I was just like, okay, Billy Eichner can sing. I had no idea why I thought this was just going to be a Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner trash fire. Because Seth Rogen can't sing.
I felt like you could see the conversation in the booth when like Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner are doing their comedy thing, and they're both having so much fun and they're being funny, and then they get to Hakuna Matata, and the director is like, all right, here's the downbeat. And Billy Eichner starts singing, and you can like, obviously you don't, but you can hear Seth Rogen being like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. Because he's like, oh, cool,
sing?
I'm going to be matched up against somebody else who can't sing. This will be great. We'll make a thing out of it. And they did. It worked very well. It was a good pair. And I don't want to just sit here and talk about all the great things that white people did in this movie, but it was a great pair, and they did a very good job with it.
Yeah. Well, it was just great casting for it. These are two hilarious people that came together and did something great that is comparable to the original pairing, which is not something you can do for every single choice that they made, but that was definitely one of them.
No, for sure. This is one of the spots that I would definitely say is, and for me, it was an improvement over the original. And I will agree about John Oliver as Zazu as well. I think that he turned in a marvelous performance.
Yes, I think Zazu was able to have a lot of great moments to do after he was introduced as just watching over Simba. Because once he was able to be like the reconnaissance, still doing the morning reports for Sarabi, and being able to help Nala escape, I loved all of that. I thought that made way more sense.
Even his first morning report where they just let him be John Oliver, and he's like, the birds were tweeting at 4 a.m. And I'm like, birds, we get it.
You could practically just see him at his desk still waving his hands.
Absolutely. And it's like they let him be him.
We bought the birds.
Yeah. They let him be him. They let Seth Rogen be Seth Rogen. And they let Billy Eichner be Billy Eichner. And I think they all did a phenomenal job. That was truly where the voice acting was great for me in this movie. And I will say it. I prefer Chiwetel over Jeremy Irons. Full stop.
You might be the only one on earth.
I prefer him all the way through the song.
I would brawl for that. DK's gonna not like that opinion.
That's fine. DK doesn't listen to this show.
That's fair.
100%. I would take him. I would be in favor of him getting. It'd probably be supporting actor, but I'd be in favor of him getting a Best Actor nomination for that part. He was the best part of this movie for me.
The voice of Scar, correct?
The voice of Scar, yeah. The voice of Scar.
See,
I absolutely loved it.
Some people enjoyed the changes to Scar, and some of the reasoning behind it seemed really weird to me. That people were saying that the original Scar had a lot of I don't know how to phrase this in a very good way, but there was like, he was being very flamboyant in the way he was speaking, and people thought that if that was a retelling that was done in this version of Scar, that wouldn't resonate well. But honestly, when I go back and see old Disney villains that are claiming to have that, I just feel like they're just being evil.
No, so for me, this doesn't have anything to do with you can throw Jeremy Irons again. I don't really hold anything for the original movie. He was great. Jeremy Irons was great in his role as Scar in the original Lion King. But I think that his Scar, I think that the new Scar would have been bad in that movie, and I think the Jeremy Irons Scar would have been bad in this movie. But I think that this Scar adds more to this movie than that Scar did to that movie. If that makes any sense.
I would completely disagree. My point.
Yeah, I don't agree.
I felt like the original Scar, the way how he was so enthusiastic and so full of emotion in everything he said, I thought that added so much to seeing him behave. Like, seeing the juxtaposition of him being so frustrated with Simba when Simba was coming around to him saying that he was going to be king. And then seeing him get so excited and angry at the hyenas. Seeing those waves with him, I felt like made him a compelling and interesting character. I think the new Scar made some better decisions. Like, it seemed like he was a more competent villain than the old Scar. I felt like a lot of the expressions or a lot of the lines that Jeremy Irons originally had were not implemented very well in the new Lion King. Like, those just felt very boring to me, the way he delivered them.
I feel like a lot of the dialogue that was like directly recycled fell a little bit flat for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think, to me, it felt like James Earl Jones completely phoned this in. And I think
my gosh. Can we talk about James Earl Jones for a second?
I think that he was a bad choice.
I think he was the wrong choice as well, because when he started talking, he's literally Mufasa, okay? He is like literally the original Mufasa. He starts talking, all I hear is Darth Vader.
Because he did the Vader voice.
He did do the Vader voice.
Mufasa has a different voice, and he just didn't do it. But all I think you did by putting James Earl Jones in this movie is open the door to more comparison and more criticism than is due this movie.
I kind of agree. Because at first, whenever, like in the Broadway musical, when I heard Mufasa for the first time, I was like, your voice is not as low. It's not as, like, powerful. But you adjust to it. In this one, when it was James Earl Jones, I just kept thinking, his lines aren't that off. Why don't you just rip the audio? I don't understand.
Right?
Like, what was the point? Like, especially when he came back in the clouds. What was so wrong with what he said originally? Yeah. He was so concise and mysterious in the original one.
You could have taken plenty of lines as well. The like, before sunrise, he is your son. And it's just, in this movie, it's just like, oh.
He didn't even laugh.
Before sunrise, he's your son. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't want to deal with this. Hey, Sarabi, I don't want to deal with this kid.
I just want my Star Wars paychecks again. But I had to die in freaking Return of the Jedi. I only got one line in the last two movies. I want more lines. I want Star Wars back. That's what he was saying.
He's the only actor that is also in the original one, right?
Yes.
That wasn't Matthew Broderick?
No. And now you can bring me to my next point. Let's talk about the voice acting there. I do not, for a second, believe that Beyonce and Donald Glover have ever been in the same room together. What is the opposite of chemistry? Because they had that.
Physics.
I was going to say physics. I almost said that. They had absolutely no chemistry together whatsoever. It seemed like Beyonce did her parts probably from, like, I don't know, like a telephone booth in the Maldives, where she was just like, oh, fine, I'll do this movie. Leave me alone.
I'm freaking Beyonce. No, I felt this way about Beyonce as well. Listen, if you love Queen Bey or whatever, that's fine, but she did not deliver anything particularly interesting to this movie. Her song in the middle of it completely pulled me out of the film.
Yeah. I was very disappointed with Spirit. I was so frustrated that they threw in this, like, poppy song when there was all of this, like, very iconic, very stylized music. And I was like, why wouldn't you just have her singing He Lives in You? What was so hard about that? That song's beautiful.
So He Lives in You is not in the original Lion King, right?
No, it's in the second one at the beginning.
It's in the second one, but it's in the musical.
Yes, and it's at that moment.
It's at that moment in the musical.
Yeah.
So I was like pre-crying, waiting for that movie or moment to happen, because I've seen the musical more probably than I've seen the movie, to tell you the truth, and I just like inserted it more into the original in my brain. So I was like, oh, they're gonna do He Lives in You now, and I'm gonna just weep. And then it didn't happen, and it was just like Spirit. And I was like, what is this?
It was so bad. It was out of nowhere. And then, like, her voice part as Nala, she was Nala, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how unmemorable it was to me. It was like, okay, that is a voice. Like, Donald Glover has a voice where I'm like, yep, that's Donald Glover's voice.
100%.
But Beyonce's voice was just like, yep, that is a female.
Donald Glover did a good job singing the songs, but as far as his actual voice acting, I just like, again, it was flat. It was just completely flat.
It wasn't super memorable or anything.
Yeah. Like, he did a good job singing when he came in Hakuna Matata as an adult.
I was going to say that, yep.
It was good. It was a nice compliment, and he was a good musician. But his voice acting, it's just like, I don't know. And I've never really watched Community. And so what you get is a lot more Community and a lot less Childish Gambino. And so I was sort of hoping for some Gambino flavor to it, but it was a lot of like, I'm Donald Glover, and I'm going to try to be white.
Hakuna Matata!
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely getting Troy vibes from Community.
Troy, that's his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Troy in bed in the morning.
I didn't want to be wrong about that.
Fair. I've been watching that show on Hulu. Yes, dude, I'm a huge Community stan.
It's not a bad show by any means. It's just not something I've ever like really gotten into, and I'm much more of a fan of Childish Gambino than I am of Donald Glover in Community.
100%. Yeah, that makes sense.
And Childish Gambino's an angry mother Fortnite. Like, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of passion behind every line of those songs, and it's just, like, none of that was here for his voice acting.
He could have really dropped in like this is in Africa.
I would have preferred that to Spirit.
Yeah, Spirit was a bad move. Especially, I just, like, that would have been a fine credit song. Like, you always let the pop star have the credit song.
Right.
And throw it on the album, and you can say, here's the Beyonce song. Just
right,
let
like
her
at the end of Aladdin.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
DJ Khaled.
Dude, that was funny.
Yeah. But no, they put it directly in the middle. Granted. You can go in the archives of this show, and you can hear me complain about them giving the pop star the credit song. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what movies I've spoken about it with, but it drives me crazy every time when it's like, yeah, this big dramatic movie, especially if it's a movie that doesn't have, like, music with words in it, and it's like, oh, we made a credit song.
Oh, yeah, like, Boom Clap.
Yeah.
The Fault in Our Stars.
Or that Ed Sheeran song for The Fault in Our Stars.
One of those is not in the movie itself.
Boom Clap is in the movie.
Is it?
Yeah. But it's like normally I hate that. This time I would have preferred that.
Real quick on The Fault in Our Stars, do you think 17-year-olds that look like Ansel Elgort that only have one leg would have a hard time meeting a girl in high school?
No.
Nobody
that looks like Ansel Elgort ever has trouble meeting a girl in high school. Nobody that looks like a hot 24-year-old has trouble meeting a girl in high school.
No, a prom date would not be a problem. Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, no, not at all. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Especially because somebody be like, wow, Gus, you walk funny. And he's like, I'm 6 foot Fortnite 3.
And I have one leg.
I will take this leg off and hit you with it. Like, go away.
Oh, man.
Anyway, The Lion King. I think I'm done shirting on it for a minute. Because I did actually enjoy this movie. I definitely had a lot of fun watching it. It was not a unpleasurable experience at all.
I think one thing I want to talk about, and I guess I'm going to keep the pessimistic train going, even though I did also have a pretty good time going through it. I'm glad I was able to see it. But one moment that always hits me hard is when Mufasa dies. And in this one, when the wildebeest went down into the gorge, it felt like they went down like a staircase step. Like it didn't feel this massive dramatic thing. And then when the wildebeest were running through the gorge, I just didn't feel like, where are all these wildebeest coming from? Why are there so many? Because it felt like there were so many gaps in between them, and it felt like there was only like, it was such a narrow gorge as well. So it just felt like super small. And when he finally fell and like fell down, it just felt very odd pacing. And so when Mufasa finally dies, it just fell flat. I felt like that was one of the moments that really should have hit me and felt me think of like the people that I've lost or will lose in my life. And that just felt like I was just very confused with how it was all done.
That is interesting to me that you have that critique, because I talked to Ethan about this yesterday, and he had the same critique of it, that it felt flat.
I agree.
I did not have this experience. When Mufasa died, I was like a wreck in the theater.
Like literally, within the last year, I lost my own father, and I did not care. Now, granted, when we went back to it, and Rafiki was just like, Mufasa's alive, he's in your heart. I was like, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm not having a problem here, okay? We're all good. You're crying. Guy behind me reciting the entire movie lyric for lyric. You're crying.
Ooh, I do want to talk about your theater experiences, but after this point.
But yeah, I don't know. I agree with Isaac. Like there was no tension. It was like, Mufasa, just stop. Hey buddy. Hey, stop climbing. You're good right there on that like 45-degree incline you're laying on. You're not gonna go anywhere. They'll be done in a minute. Simba's on a tree. He's fine. You could have stayed right there. You'd have been fine.
I felt like the moment...
And that was the thing, is I felt like Mufasa died in this one because he died in the first one.
Yes, yeah. I felt like
it's
the
like
moment
Mufasa
that
dies because he dies.
was better for me was when they were looking up at the stars. Like, that conversation resonated with me more. And I thought that was going to set up like, oh, good, this movie is able to hit emotional beats. I'm sure it's going to hit hard at the spirit moment when he dies and when Simba's finally able to climb Pride Rock. But that moment hit me the most, is when they're having their conversation.
Speaking of the stars, there was a cool attention to detail moment in the film. I would have to watch it again to make sure it happens every time. But there is multiple scenes of Simba at nighttime. And anytime it's nighttime for Simba, there are stars in the sky. But be prepared, there is a cloudless black sky.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Because the old kings don't give a shirt about Scar.
They also don't care about dead elephants. Who's moving all these bones?
The other thing that I've been noticing more and more often when I watch The Lion King is how they pay attention to detail of the sun rising and falling. Since Mufasa says, the sun will set on my time as king. And I felt like I don't know if they did that.
They paid way... I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, Isaac, here.
Yeah.
They paid way too much attention to the sun rising and falling in this movie. Hey, Jon Favreau, I want to talk to you. There are other ways to string scenes together than hard cut, sky, pan down.
Okay.
Because every single scene started like that. They went from one Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa scene to a different Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa scene by going hard cut, sky, pan to the ground.
Yeah.
It happened like 17 times in this movie. It was ridiculous. It was absurd.
I think the main time it happens in the original is at the beginning, the sun rises. And then when Mufasa dies, Simba's running away and the sun sets. And I'm like, that's beautiful. But yeah, I agree. It felt jarring at times when there was just like one moment that they would show and then they'd cut back to something else.
Right.
Where, like, for example, when Mufasa confronts Scar at the beginning of the movie with Zazu and then they leave. In the original one, there's this long, beautiful score and they show the rain and it's just all natural and then you cut to Rafiki. But in this one, it was just like, they just like cut to it. There was like only one little moment. There was no build up. And that was... Oh God, that was something else I want to talk about, is that for some reason, the score has a lot of similarities to the original, but for some reason, it was not as epic as the original score.
Who did the original score?
Hans Zimmer, and Hans Zimmer came back.
It's Hans Zimmer again. Okay, that's why. That's 100% why. Because I truthfully believe this. I thought about this during the movie. Mm-hmm. We have heard every trick Hans Zimmer has to play. Because this score, there were moments of it that were straight out of Pirates, of which there have been 5. There were moments where I was like, oh, you did the thing, you did the dun thing. You're about to hit some pipes, some flutes. And flutes, thank you. Got it. Nailed it. Got it in one, Hans. I could see you coming at this point. Because it was an epic score in the original, for sure. And it still is. I think that, like, again, it just sort of feels like that, just a half redo on it. Mm-hmm. I also don't think that they used the underscore as well as they could have at all. No. Just in filmmaking. Again, like they took a beautiful moment in the score and added a Beyonce song there.
Yes, and there was moments where it felt like they should have, like, because at times I listen to the score on my own and I can like feel all the emotion as it builds and builds and builds and think of what it is in the movie. And for this, it just felt like there was never a large enough build. And it felt like, hey guys, you should crank up the volume on this moment or something like that. It was like, why is the speaker so quiet? Because it just felt like this should be bigger than it actually is.
I would agree with that. When the biggest moment that I noticed it was when Nala is leaving the camp and that whole thing with her being tracked by Scar and when Zazu comes in to help. Mm-hmm. That whole thing happens and I'm literally sitting there. I'm watching Lion King in front of me and all I can see is Jack Sparrow, like sneaking around in Singapore. That's all I can see in front of me is Jack Sparrow. And straight up, I was like, this is just, you've recycled this music. It's like that scene with the Jeeps in Jurassic Park when the Jeeps are first pulling in after they landed on the island, when the Jeeps are first pulling into the scene and it's just like John Williams music. Like, he just took a piece of music that was stolen from Star Wars and was like, I'm not gonna ever do anything with this, so here you go. They're not gonna make any more Star Wars movies. This is exactly what it felt like. It's like Hans Zimmer just went to, like, opened up his notes file on his phone and was like, yeah, it'll work.
Nobody will notice this.
Mm-hmm. I'm not done with this movie yet. I didn't like Kid Simba at all. I didn't find his voice acting endearing, and I don't think he particularly added anything to the songs.
What did you think of the new Just Can't Wait? Because I would think, after I saw this movie, I texted Ethan and I said, overall, I really liked it. But there was one scene that I felt like after this movie, I decided the original version of this is not just obviously better. It is one of my favorite sequences of art of all time.
See, I didn't even notice distinct differences other than the singer.
And Just Can't Wait to Be King?
Yeah.
They like climbed a tower of animals in the original.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what happened during the scene in the original. They did like a Musician of Bremen thing.
It was, well, in the original, there was when Simba initially like slams down and you hear it initially start, the whole world becomes bright colored and dramatic. And
yeah.
And so everything
and fun
becomes super stylized. So yeah, when this song started,
which is obviously something they couldn't do here, and that was fine. Like, I'm okay with them.
That's absolutely bonkers, because I feel like the one thing that Aladdin did better than the original movie was to add color and to add vibrance and to add life and to make it this stylized thing. And
I feel like they were able to do that because they had costumes in Aladdin. In Lion King, they have naked lions.
Also, I'm not talking about the sequence, like, I'm talking about the song specifically. It doesn't have anything to do with what happens, because this movie was so, again, because of the way they did it, the music that happened might as well have not had anything to do with what was going on screen. You could have honestly played this over 2 hours of Planet Earth and just gotten the same effect. Like, you could have played the dialogue, the score, everything. So, like, for me, the music doesn't have anything to do with what's happening on screen in this one. So the sequence in the original movie might be better, but I didn't notice any particular sonic differences between the songs, with the exception of the singer. Now, I do prefer that they used one person for everything, and there weren't 4 people playing Simba.
Oh, I agree with that, yeah. There's 2 people playing Simba here.
There's 2 people playing Simba instead of 4 people playing Simba. And I maintain, like, were you really going for that home improvement clout, getting Jonathan Taylor Thomas to be any kid in America?
I think Jonathan Taylor Thomas was the guy, dude.
I don't know what it was like in 1994 because I was barely alive. But, like, I don't know. I've never particularly watched the original Lion King and been like, man, that's Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Love that guy.
I feel the same way about Matthew Broderick.
No, I hear Matthew Broderick, I'm like, this is Ferris Bueller. You pour one out for Ferris Bueller. But
But you've never seen the original sequence for Just Can't Wait to Be King?
No, I have seen it, but that's not what I'm talking about. When I talk about the song, that's not what I'm talking about.
But that's what I'm talking about, and I brought this point up.
Okay, but you didn't make that clear at all.
Yeah, I did. I said, when I watched this movie, it was made clear to me that the original sequence of Just Can't Wait to Be King...
Right, and I said I didn't notice any particular differences between the songs other than the singer. And I still don't... I just listened to it. I still don't particularly hear any differences between the original song and the new song.
But Tyler, you're talking about the sequence as a whole, not just the song.
No, and I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. I could not have placed this sequence in my head before that.
Oh, okay.
But now that once you said Tower of Animals, I was like, oh, that's that scene. Got it. In my mind, that happens during Circle of Life.
No.
This
whole scene is awesome.
I will say, as soon as the movie kicks in, when the sun comes up and you did the song that I don't even know the name of or know a single word to, when that starts playing, when Rafiki starts singing, I got chills. My girlfriend literally started crying, just openly weeping next to me in that very first scene.
The Circle of Life.
It's still cool. Like that first moment where you're looking at the sun and it's not quite there, and then it's just like bright, and then it happens. It's still cool.
I'll tell you, you remember Black Panther? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set in Africa, sort of exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Except with Simba's Killmonger.
No.
Yes.
Scar is Killmonger.
No, Scar is not Killmonger.
You think Simba's Killmonger?
No, there is no T'Challa in Black Panther. I mean, in Lion King.
It'd be Simba.
No. Because Simba watches his father killed by his brother and then lives in exile and then returns to retrieve his rightful place as king. That is literally what Killmonger does. That is his arc. Now, he's the villain because Marvel's decided to tell us he's the villain.
And he
He's
wanted
the villain
to
because
kill the, like, enslaved people.
Right. That whole thing.
Yeah, that's
he
the
wanted
reason.
to use Wakandan technology.
I'm just saying,
to
there's an argument you could make where
riots.
Killmonger's the good guy in that movie.
I suppose, but it's just kind of the exact same thing that he didn't like that other people were doing.
No, I agree. He had some very poor execution, but until he went for the, like, yeah, we're gonna make the world our I was with him.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why T'Challa took the freaking fight. Anyway, the point is, in that movie, they talk about the Wakandan sunset is the most beautiful thing you'll ever see. And then it's like kind of lackluster when the Wakandan sunset actually happens. But this movie had one hell of a Wakandan sunset many a time. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, no, there were some great sunrising and sunsetting moments in this movie. There were about 14,942 million of them. So I get it. They had to get it right a couple times. I'm not bitter. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. There's just like, there's other ways to get from scene to scene. You can literally just do like a YouTube hard cut.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Do the prequel cuts.
Oh, do you like the swipe?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's all of Star Wars.
Do.
That's the new Star Wars still do that.
Yeah, it's like a Star Wars trope.
It's a Star Wars thing. It's like the blue font. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're going to use Calibri in cyan. And that's what Star Wars looks like for the long, long time ago.
That'll make the boys weep.
It does, dude.
And now, every time it comes on screen, and it's like, long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, and I'm just like, the first note of the next song, of the song, blows the tears off of my face.
And then that blows them harder. And now I'm crying more.
Yes.
I just love Star Wars a lot.
The movies that make me cry at the very beginning have been, in the last few years, well, I think ever, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Toy Story 4. Those are the movies I heard the initial music and I started to cry.
Nah, Toy Story 4 took me a second. It took me until Woody was about to get in the box. Mm-hmm. That was when I cried. Granted, that was like the first, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, Isaac, I'm not gonna lie to you, man, you sound pretty not jazzed on this movie. And I just want to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're having this experience.
Well, the thing is that although I enjoy consuming every live action remake, I enjoy consuming the grand majority that Disney produces. It's not always going to start taking over my love of the animated films or anything like that. So I can be critical of it, but overall, I'm still glad. I don't know, particularly glad I enjoyed the experience that I was given.
I think the interesting point that you just brought up is that, like, it's fine that they want to make these live action remakes, but there is a big enough segment of their audience in the, like, I would say maybe currently 18 to 30-year-old range that is perfectly happy with the originals.
See, here's my thing with Disney right now, is Disney keeps sticking its own foot in its own mouth with these movies. Obviously not to a harmful extent, but just to an extent that it's like mildly embarrassing to watch it happen. Because like the Mulan teaser comes out, right? And everybody's like, I'm sorry, A, it doesn't have music, B, it doesn't have Mushu, C, it doesn't have Shang in it. What are you even doing? And they're like, whoa, hey, whoa, hey. What we're doing with these remakes, it's not a remake. Look, they're not remakes, they're retellings. And this is not a retelling. This is like a shot for shot. Like, you still got those same shots of like Simba and Timon and Pumbaa walking over the log in the nighttime with the moon. It's the same movie. It is the same movie. It is not a retelling. And that was like 2 weeks ago that they were like, no, they're all retellings. Y'all just don't get it. And then they put this out, which is a remake.
There definitely were previous live action remakes, or retellings, if Disney wants to label it as such, that altered a lot more to modernize the films in a better way. My favorite example is The Jungle Book and Cinderella. I thought both those films added quite a bit to make the story feel new while also still being familiar and making the live action choices in smart ways. Cinderella is my favorite live action retelling thus far.
Yeah, but we already had a live-action Cinderella, and it was good.
What?
97 Cinderella, Black Cinderella, with Whoopi Goldberg and Brandy.
Was that Disney, though?
Or sorry, Whitney Houston, not Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, it was Disney. It was like made for TV. How do y'all not know about this?
Because
I don't know about this. Never heard of this in my entire life. Wow.
Yo, first of all, slaps. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. It's like
released 97.
Cinderella's Brandy, so she's a black girl with black mom and a white dad and an Asian prince.
Yes, it was Walt Disney Television.
Or sorry, no. The mom and the dad are the prince's mom and dad, obviously, because that's how Cinderella works. I had to remember that.
Cinderella doesn't have parents.
Yeah, Cinderella didn't have parents. Yo, smacks, brother. Like, it is great.
Who are you?
Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. It was awesome.
I've never heard of this, Ethan.
You should go watch it if you can find it anywhere. Say that again?
In recent years, I have heard about this film and about how people enjoy it. And I think it was a Nostalgic Critic episode. He references some other version of Cinderella live action. But I don't know if the Cinderella that I enjoyed was a big cinematic experience promoted by Disney heavily. And so that's the one that I mainly compare them to. I've never seen this. I don't know if, I bet they don't sell it on Amazon.
Probably not.
I'd be hard pressed.
Probably not. I like it better.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I don't think that I could tell you, I don't think, so I watched The Jungle Book, the new one, before we started the show. So I don't think I developed opinions on it.
Oh, do you remember the good old days when you could just watch a movie?
You just watch a movie and not have to talk about it for 2 hours.
Not that I dislike this.
No, but it's just that movie just went in and out of my head at the same time. So I can't really speak to The Jungle Book. I did not love, but I actively don't like Beauty and the Beast, as opposed to I like The Lion King, I like Aladdin. I actively do not like Beauty and the Beast, and I did not like the remake of Beauty and the Beast because I don't feel like they particularly did anything different with it, except they made LeFou gay, which was cool, and then everybody was mad, which was not cool.
Yeah, LeFou, but yeah.
Whatever, dude, it does not matter. That movie's so creepy, it does not matter.
Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast is so creepy.
I would
She's
argue
his
against
prisoner.
that.
I'm not gonna hear this conversation anymore. I swear to God, he takes her prisoner
Because he's the ruler, and then
that's
she
still
stays.
not cool.
He lets her go, and she comes back. It's her choice.
It's not a good message to send to young women in 2017.
I think it's more about the message it sends to young men than young women.
Young men aren't listening. If there's
I don't
anything I've
think
learned
lots
every
of
damn
young
day,
men
it's that
are
young
watching
men are
Beauty
not
and the Beast.
listening. Say that again, Isaac. Sorry.
Lots of men aren't watching Beauty and the Beast anymore.
The men that need to learn that message were not watching the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, I liked Aladdin. I didn't watch Dumbo. I don't give a f*** about Dumbo, the original. I don't have strong opinions on that. It got a 12% and made $8, so whatever. Also, everyone's mad at Tim Burton because he's a terrible human being. Great call,
about
Disney.
Cats?
Nailed that one.
Who's excited for Cats?
I was
not
surprised
Disney.
how many stars they got for that.
There's no way Cats is Disney. That cannot be possible.
It's not.
No, it comes out the same day
I
as
was going to
Star
say, it comes
Wars.
at the same day as Star Wars. They would not be even that bold.
Is it?
It
You know,
looks like a nightmare.
I think
that
it's
I have.
Universal.
So good.
I think it's Universal. That would only
How do you
be
think
so
it looks
bold.
good? How is that possible?
How is what possible?
How is it possible that you think it looks good? I do not physically understand. It looks like an absolute nightmare.
It looks very scary.
I think that obviously there's parts where it falls apart.
No, if they come out in a month and they're like, JK, that was a teaser trailer, Cats is a horror movie, I'm going to be like, yeah, I get it. I could have told you that.
Yes.
I mean, the story itself is messed up. Are you familiar with the show?
Yeah, I've listened to the show. I've actually read the book.
Yeah,
The
so-
Life of Old Possum or whatever. T.S. Eliot really had a thing for cats, anthropomorphic cats with feelings. Weird thing.
I believe those people are called furries.
Yeah, I mean, I think T.S. Eliot really invented the idea of the furry, and we're just not giving him credit for it because it was 1926. I don't know. It's a trash fire of a musical, and I am a Andrew Lloyd Webber apologist. I love me some Webber. I think that he writes some of the greatest musicals that have ever been written. I think that Cats is not one of them. It's 3 goddamn hours of people introducing themselves.
Yeah, they're offering themselves up.
I don't know. I think it looks terrible. It's absolutely horrifying. We've taken so many steps forward with CGI, and then Cats was like, we're going to take 8,000 steps backwards.
Oh, I'm not going to pay money to see it in theaters, and I almost definitely won't see it on digital, because I don't know how I'd feel if I was watching it and another member of my family, either
If
immediate or
anybody
extended.
knew I was watching it at any point.
Right. Somebody walked in and was like, "What you watching?" That is not a moment I can bear to live through.
Oh man.
If I walked out of the theater and I saw DK and he was like, "Hey, what'd you see?" I just saw Star Wars again. I'd be like, "Me too."
Yeah, for the 8th time.
It was great.
Yeah, I don't know if I can look another human being in the face and say,
like,
I
"I
just watched
saw
the live
Cats."
action Cats.
No, I watched the CG Cats.
I mean, those are faces. Those are people's faces.
When people talk about the funniest thing I've seen come out of the Cats thing is people who have performed the show before, being like, how dare you CG this? I had to wear a stupid freaking tail and learn how to dance with it.
That's wild because all I've seen so far, with the exception of Tessa Netting being excited, all I've seen so far is people that were in Cats looking around and being like, why? This is terrible. Nobody likes this musical.
It would not be my first choice for a Broadway to the silver screen adaptation.
Well, like all the other Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals have been made into movies already, so.
Right, I would say, Andy, you've had your time, and it's time for somebody else to get a chance.
I don't think he had a damn thing to do with it. Honestly, I do not think he had a thing to do with it. And like, well, I almost said that out loud. I almost finished this sentence. Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals usually make good movies, but Phantom of the Opera was awful, but it's entirely Gerard Butler's fault.
You sure it's not your fault, Ethan?
I'm positive it's not my fault.
But did you check?
I mean, look, it's no Jesus Christ Superstar, and it never will be.
What'd you think of Les Miserables?
It's no Jesus Christ Superstar, and it never will be. I liked Les Mis a lot more than theater nerds liked Les Mis.
Like the movie?
I genuinely enjoyed it. I will say it out loud with my own mouth. I liked Russell Crowe as Javert. I do not think necessarily in every case that one's ability to perform the songs flawlessly are more important than one's ability to act. And I would say the same darn thing about Mina Mossad in Aladdin. It did not matter that he could not sing. Aladdin only has, like, 1.5 songs.
Yeah, but one of them's the opener.
Yeah, and it's a trash song in the original, it's a trash song in the new one.
No, One Jump is like one of my favorite songs.
He did it fine.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. It's not a particularly complicated or challenging or, like, interesting song to listen to.
It is in the original.
It's
the whole
not,
sequence.
It's not.
Much like Just
I'm
Can't Wait
not
to Be
talking
King.
about the sequence, because the sequence is way cooler in the remake, and you know it was.
I don't know, man. The original sequence is pretty cool.
I am an Aladdin remake apologist here. I love the Aladdin remake. I'll say it with my own mouth.
Would you say you would gush over the Aladdin remake?
No, I would not say. I wouldn't gush over any movie, okay? Let's be straight here.
Ethan, every other letter is capital B positive Edgehill.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm positive that I like the Aladdin remake. I liked it better than original Aladdin, and I will not apologize for it. Will Smith is better in the movie as the genie.
I was surprised how much I liked the genie as Will Smith. I thought that was really good.
I think he did a phenomenal job. I think that I maintain my statement. We did a whole episode of this, but I'll say it again. I maintain my statement of the ensemble that they put together for the Aladdin remake worked more cohesively as a unit than the ensemble cast they put together for the Aladdin original. I do not think that Will Smith was trying to be Robin Williams, and nor do I think he should. And I don't think that Robin Williams was a mistake in the original Aladdin. I think that he did very, very, very good, and I miss him every single day that I am alive. But I prefer Will Smith as the genie.
So there's not like one movie you would gush over?
No, there's plenty.
Name a movie you'd gush over.
Like what? Like a recent one?
Any film. Give me a film
The
that
Force
you would be
Awakens. Have you listened to our episode on The Force Awakens?
Oh, there we go.
like, oh man, what a freaking film.
I think it's the best Star Wars movie ever made.
But I want you to see a franchise movie and come out of it and say, that was the best movie I've ever seen.
It hasn't happened in a long time.
How do I get Ethan to gush?
I don't know. You got to make better movies, man. I truthfully believe that. Obviously, I've already seen the best movies I've seen to this point. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if I've already seen the best movies I'm ever gonna see. Like best movies. I've already seen them, man. Like,
I just think you need to lower your standards. Allow more 10s.
I don't think I've allowed any 10 ever. I'm waiting for a 10, man. That's the thing. Is I am sitting here in waiting of a 10.
I feel like a 10 is a very difficult note to strike with people.
I can name 5 10s.
All right.
Go for it. Name them.
Original Lion King.
Okay.
Spider-Man
You're
Into
wrong.
the Spider-Verse.
You're wrong.
WALL-E.
You're wrong.
Jurassic Park. Empire Strikes Back.
You might be right on... You might be right on Jurassic Park. I fully believe that we have overrated Empire. We as a species.
Isaac, could you name 5 10s?
Because Empire's not even the best Star Wars movie anymore. It's just not... Fight me.
Fine.
Me,
I think The Force Awakens is also a 10. But Isaac, I need 5 10s. Bing, bang, boom. Go.
Okay. Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Lilo and Stitch.
Oh my god, I hate you. I cannot believe you just said, Isaac.
Yes.
God, I wish I have. I was actually talking to somebody about this today. I wish I could see the world through your eyes for a day. I feel like it's the best place. Do you wear like pink contact lenses that just make everything look beautiful all the time? Okay, so let me pinpoint this. Lilo and Stitch was the first Disney movie you saw in theaters, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, but the more I watch it as I've gotten older,
no, you don't need to caveat that one. I get it. Like, I understand where you're coming from.
But
Give me two more.
It ages well. There's movies I think are fun, but not a great. How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Good one.
Yeah, that's
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. And all right, I got one more. All right, let's look at my shelf. Let's see what I got.
So Isaac, let me pose a statement to you.
Yeah.
You hate live action movies.
Ooh, like me to choose one that's an action movie?
No, live
action
action.
movies.
Oh.
Like, give it. So if I give you the choice of going to, like, you have Netflix 2, which includes every movie ever made, right? Theoretical Netflix 2.
Sure.
How many times out of 10 do you put on a live action movie? Given free reign to watch whatever you want, just like random Tuesday night, you're like, I'm gonna watch a movie.
Oh, it's typically live action.
Is it really?
The grand majority of the time that I'm consuming things for fun, it's live action. So in my job, it's all Disney animated stuff. Typically Disney Channel original movie stuff. But when I watch TV, it's typically, my favorite things to watch are like HBO shows, Showtime shows. I like more of the adult stuff. So I love.
Ethan, I can do 5 more 10s right now.
Could you really?
So here's my thing. Is like, I don't want people. I recently I have given off, especially if you watch the Google Hangout. Recently, I have given off the idea that I am some sort of like film elitist, and like
I would 100% agree with that idea.
Yeah. So like, if you want to ask me the movies that I've watched the most in my life, it would be. Let's see. Number 1, the movies I've watched most in my life. Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers is number 1 by far. I have seen that at least 100 times. Maybe 200. There was a solid period of time where I came home and watched that every single day on VHS after school when I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
sure.
And then it would be Jurassic Park, which is one of my favorite films ever. And that's one I could feel good about. And then it's probably like Fast and the Furious 3 Tokyo Drift.
that's on my list. Yep.
Like,
in my top 10 most seen films.
I would have to. I'm not much of a film rewatcher after that, but like I would have to think about it for a few minutes. But like, the movies I watch the most are not these like grandiose works. I mean, I guess you could argue against Jurassic Park, but Jurassic Park is a very fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
I could do 5 more 10s right now.
Wait, I've got one more 10 though.
Okay.
And
I just got one more 10.
Last 10, I'll go into the Pixar catalog. One of my favorite Pixar films, Toy Story 2.
Toy Story 2.
My
Good
favorite
10.
one.
Yep.
That's a good 10.
See,
do
you want me
5
to
10s,
you want
all
to
live
force
action.
you want to force me to call 5 things a 10.
No, I want 5 real 10s from Ethan.
5 real 10s from Ethan.
Yeah, I can do 5 more. Are you ready?
Yeah, give me 5 more. I'll think of 5 more. You give me 5 more.
Without Limits with Billy Crudup, The Prestige.
Hold on. Billy Crudup was Without Limits?
He's pre.
I've never seen that. If you think I've seen Without Limits, I love Billy Crudup. Dude's amazing.
Billy Crudup. He's the dude from Watchmen, right? That's his name?
If you think I've seen Watchmen,
Oh, Watchmen.
I'm gonna tell you straight up, I have never seen.
Yeah, Billy Crudup.
Okay,
Steve
if you
Prefontaine.
type in the word, hold on, I want to talk about this for 2 seconds because this makes me very happy. If you type Billy into IMDb, the first person that comes up right now is Billy Eichner, and I slay king. You absolutely deserve it. Billy Crudup, yeah, he was in Watchmen, yeah, but he's the dude from Big Fish.
Yeah, and he's Steve Prefontaine. So,
I
Without
did not
Limits,
know that.
The Prestige, Avengers Endgame, Inglourious Bastards, one more live action.
You don't have some big live action.
No, I told you I could do 5 live action.
Oh, did you?
Star Wars The Force Awakens. Done. Easy.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens is the only one I would consider for a 10.
I don't think this movie is necessarily a 10, but I think it's my favorite superhero movie, Spider-Man 2, if I was going to give
I think it's a 10. You got a 10 right there. Alfred Molina, yes. 10 City.
It's beautiful.
Y'all don't
Welcome to
ask as
10
much
City.
from your. This is what I've learned about. Okay, so this is what I've learned about how other people rate the Marvel movies, specifically the MCU. Y'all ask less of your hero than I do.
What do you mean? Like
Based
morally?
on my No, you ask less of especially performance, but just in general, the hero. When it comes to rating the MCU, people ask less of the hero than I do. I think T'Challa is the worst part of Black Panther. Therefore, for me, it puts it at like a 6 or a 7, maybe an 8 on the MCU. But like people all day will say that Black Panther is their number one MCU movie. And I think that's a perfectly valid opinion. Like that is a big, if you can sit down and watch Black Panther and say this is the best movie in the MCU, God, I love you for it.
Here's my only issue with Black Panther, because every time I revisit it, I get more out of T'Challa that I like. My only issue with Black Panther is everybody talks about Wakanda like it's this such established CGI city, but all I see when they enter Wakanda is CGI city. I don't feel like, oh, there's Wakandan Starbucks and there's, Wakandan Walmart and there's Wakandan Macy's. I don't feel like I'm looking at an established city. I feel like I'm looking at a bunch of chrome buildings.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I love... Okay, so I love Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, because I love Alfred Molina in the as Otto Octavius, and I love James Franco as Harry Osborn, specifically in that movie. I love Spider-Man 1 because I love Willem Dafoe in his like seminal role as the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
But I will never put a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie over Spider-Man Homecoming because I love Tom Holland that much as Spider-Man.
I can understand that. I think for me, like, this is another thing where I grew up with, here's a nerdy superhero that resonates with me. And so Tobey Maguire
I get that entirely.
Boom.
Like, I saw those movies in TV as well. Not the movies. I saw those movies in the theaters as well. And, like, I loved those movies. Like, at the time when Spider-Man 2 came out, there was no better movie.
Yeah.
For sure. I played the first quarter of that video game until the disc wore out. Because I was bad at video games and that game was impossible.
My thing with the new Spider-Man is that like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he's not particularly awkward by any means. He gets nervous around like MJ and does stuff like that. But he just doesn't feel like the nerd, like the really struggling kid. Like he gets bullied by Flash a little bit. He gets picked on. But I don't know. It's probably I just like seeing the trope that's played out with Peter more.
I'll tell you.
No, I got a comment here.
Okay.
So I think what's happening there is we see a shift. Like, I think early 2000s, the trope was nerds are picked on by jocks. And I think the comment that we're making in 2017 with Spider-Man Homecoming, or 2016, whatever it was, is nerd is like has their own clique.
Nerd is picked on by bigger nerd.
Yeah.
Right. Nerd is picked on by like Flash,
narcissists.
like Flash, who isn't good enough to be a nerd.
It's not even that. It's just like bad people will pick on good people no matter what they belong to.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And that was the thing I don't think. This was what always struck me is that like Harry was never there for Peter in the original movies.
Peter was always there for Harry.
Peter was always there for Harry, but Harry should have been... For Peter to give the kind of love to Harry Osborn that he did, Harry was never there for Peter. He never backed Peter up. And it was this like... Because that was rich kid, poor kid thing. That was when they were doing that. And that was the thing is like Harry never backed Peter up. And at least that's just what they wanted to show and whatever. I also just think that Kirsten Dunst is a huge shortcoming of those movies, but whatever. That's just me.
I second that.
But I have always been an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man apologist, but the only wrong way to have a favorite Spider-Man is to have Andrew Garfield be your favorite Spider-Man.
Correct.
Miles Morales can be a favorite Spider-Man from Spider-Verse. I can say that as of yesterday. Tom Holland can be your favorite Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire can be your favorite Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is not allowed to be your favorite Spider-Man.
No.
I love those movies, but they're not as good. They're just not as good.
No.
I love how I don't know how we got here from Lion King, but I love how Stan Lee used to talk about Spider-Man and that it was like, yeah, I mean, like we set up a very likable, very relatable, very easy to portray character.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise that all the movies people write about him are pretty good.
Yeah.
That's true. Spider-Man has so much more heart and so much more life than most of the other characters. And he comes with a set of like built-in likable foil characters that are there with him, as well as his own set of interesting and endearing villains.
Yes.
Because like you put Willem Dafoe in the costume as the Green Goblin, you get magic. You put Alfred Molina in the costume as Doc Ock, you get magic. You put Topher Grace in the costume as Venom, there's a little bit of a problem there.
My spidey sense is tingling.
I mean, it's not good. It's not the worst thing that's ever happened, but it's not good. It doesn't make me feel good at night.
Son, it would have been better if you stayed on that 70s show.
Right.
Just finish out the season. And,
Poor Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Man, dude can't catch a break.
No.
He did really good as Eric Foreman, and he has just lived and died as Eric Foreman.
Where Donna got to go on it to Orange is the New Black. So.
And become awesome.
Yeah.
The worst acronym ever.
Well,
Sounds like at some point I'll be visiting your neck of the woods.
oh,
Well, I'm available 24/7, so let's hang out.
I'm available almost never. But I'm a very busy man, okay?
Isaac, you would
that's
love
fair.
it here.
You would. It's like Wisconsin, but better in every way.
It sounds like Wisconsin, but like a big city-ish. It's like
Oh,
a
it's
Green
not
Bay
that.
city.
No. Hold on.
Yeah.
If you're
It is
expecting
what
Green
you
Bay,
would call a
smaller
big
than
city.
Green
Hold
Bay.
on. It's what you'd call a big city in Wisconsin.
Yes, because my city is 16,000 people right now, and I grew up in a city that was 30,000. So when DK was like, dude, it's 100,000, I was like,
It's 100. Hold on. It's 100,000 just in the city. It's 220,000 in the county.
holy, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, no, this is what I learned about Wisconsin. First of all, Isaac, I rolled through Wisconsin, not through your town, but close to you.
Yeah.
I took Amtrak from,
Where'd you end up, though, Ethan?
oh my God, I ended up in California. It's not the point. I took Amtrak from DC to California by way of Wisconsin and North Dakota and Minnesota and Oregon. But so we picked up this one girl in Milwaukee, right? And she's like native, born and raised. And I was like, you don't have that much of an accent. And she goes, oh, you've been talking to different people from from Wisconsin. And I was like, yeah, I've got a friend who lives in Eau Claire. And she goes, oh, then he probably talks like this and talks about a bubbler and like uses the Wisconsin accent. And like nailed you perfectly. And I was like, yeah, he came on our episode for How to Train Your Dragon. And she goes, yeah, that makes sense. And she was like, I grew up outside Milwaukee. I've worked very hard to lose that accent. And so I was like, so you just, as soon as you leave Milwaukee, you lose that accent? She goes, I mean, they don't have it in Madison either, but yeah, pretty much everywhere else. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, those are the actual big cities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Roanoke sounds like big city living to me. Or enough, because Chicago was way too much.
Chicago's horrifying.
Dude, it's...
I didn't even
Chicago's
go, and
cool.
was
I want to go
scared.
back. I don't want to live there, but I want to go back.
Yeah.
Chicago, okay. Chicago, I've been to a lot of cities. Okay, I will tell you guys straight up. Every city in the Southeast is exactly the same.
Okay.
Like Richmond, Virginia is Raleigh, North Carolina, is Charlotte, North Carolina, is Columbia, South Carolina, is Atlanta, is Jacksonville. They're all the same city. Chicago was the first place that I've been in a long time that felt like it had some kind of identity.
Sure.
Atlanta used to have identity once upon a time.
No,
And,
every southeastern city is just a clone of Atlanta.
And Columbia, South Carolina, that's a city with some character. Have you been
No,
down
it's
there?
not. No, it's not. I've been there. I just said Columbia. It's not a city with character. It is literally just Richmond. It's exactly... Now, granted, I love Richmond. Recently, over the last year, I've decided that I love Richmond. Dear to my heart. I'll be there on Wednesday. I love Richmond. But
Shout
it
out
is their...
Mary Clay.
They're all Richmond. But Chicago felt like someplace. Chicago felt different.
Yeah.
Chicago was cool. I would go back. I was there. Granted, I was in Chicago for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I got off a train. We had a 4-hour train layover. I got off the train. Me and Charles Spurlock spent 2 hours outside in Chicago, and then we went back to, like, check back in and eat pizza and get on our train. Which, Chicago? Let's talk about something, buddy. City, that is not pizza. That is handheld lasagna with no noodles in it. That is not pizza.
I'm
You can
not
say
a
it's
fan.
better. You can say it's better. Whatever. It's good. It's very good. I enjoy it, but that is not pizza. The sauce is on the top
Do you know why it's not pizza, Ethan?
because it doesn't look like pizza.
Because you have to call it Chicago-style deep
Yeah, you
dish
have to call
pizza.
it Chicago-style deep dish pizza. It's handheld lasagna. They have found
You
a way
say-
to take everything that is good about lasagna and mix it with bread and make it edible, sort of by hand. It's good. I like it. Granted, I can eat about one slice before my stomach wants to explode.
Yeah, that's the thing about New York-style pizza is I could eat most of a pie.
Yeah.
Right,
100%.
like freaking. It was one of the pizza places. I think it might have been Cece's. That was like, you and a friend have 2 hours to down a 28-inch pizza, and you both get drinks. Who are you tagging? And I'm like, 2 hours? I can do that alone. No problem.
Bring
I'll
on
do
the
that.
pie.
Look, how fast am I allowed to do it in? Like, do I get more money per hour I don't spend? Because I could eat a 28-inch Cece's pizza in about 11 minutes.
Cece's Pizza used to put like spaghetti, like
they still do. They still do.
like white, like Alfredo and pasta noodles on a pizza bed.
I can guarantee you I will be at a Cece's Pizza within the next 2 weeks. So I will let you know what Cece's Pizza is looking like here in the year of our Lord 2019.
You're gonna go to Cece's Pizza on purpose?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god.
Tyler, I know this. You've never been on tour, but when you hear the words all you can eat and you haven't like properly eaten in 3 days,
You call that properly eating?
it's as much food as you
bulk,
can
at
put in
least.
your stomach. Cece's Pizza and Chinese buffets. That's the way to go.
Oh god, no, it's not. Your poor tour bus.
Where you've sort of taken food where you can get it and when you can get it.
Yeah, but where are you putting the food afterwards? That's what I want to know from your Chinese buffets and your Cece's Pizza joints.
In a Sheetz bathroom about 20 minutes outside Pittsburgh. I can tell you exactly where I'm putting that Chinese buffet.
Aren't you hungry after that?
Yeah, I'm at Sheetz.
Made to order, baby.
May MTO. Sheetz is a godsend. People that like Wawa better than Sheetz show their extreme privilege of living in Wawa territory.
I like Wawa. I like Wawa a lot.
I like Wawa a lot. I like Wawa better than Sheetz, but there's about 11 Sheetz for every single Wawa in this country.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Dude, I have no clue what that is.
Wawa's...
Oh, they
you know
don't
what
have
Sheetz
it?
Is? You been to Sheetz?
No,
So Sheetz is like... I don't know what the hell you have up there. Quick Trip? You have Quick
Oh,
Trip?
I love Quick Trip. Yeah.
So it's like Quick Trip, but you can get hot food.
Oh yeah, hot and ready stuff.
Can you get hot and ready? No, not hot and ready. Like made to order. Like you go up to like a screen. Like I know Quick Trip has the hot and ready. You can get sort of what they have, which at 3 o'clock in the morning in South Carolina is almost nothing. But you can go up Sheetz 24 hours a day. You can order whatever you want. Like if you want a hamburger with mozzarella sticks on it at 3 o'clock in the morning, they're like, yep, okay.
Whoa, that's
Ethan,
cool.
I have some news.
So like it's Quick Trip. What's the news?
There are 800 Wawa locations. Guess how many Sheetz locations there are?
642.
500.
That doesn't seem possible.
I mean, those are some rounded numbers, but
Okay.
There are more
okay,
Wawas.
Okay, but how many of those Wawas are in Philadelphia? Probably 580. Because, like, I swear to God, Wawa exists in this. It exists in half of Virginia, part of Maryland, half of Pennsylvania, and, like, that's it. And then Florida.
and New Jersey.
And New Jersey doesn't exist.
It's in a lot of New Jersey.
Yeah, but New Jersey doesn't exist. I'm never in New Jersey. But, like, either way, Sheetz is in, like, the
You've
other half
never
of
been to
Virginia, the
New
other half
Jersey?
Pennsylvania, North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, all that area, that beautiful, beautiful area that is full of Sheetzes.
Yeah, this is all the Wawas in the world.
Dang.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're all in New Jersey and Philadelphia. Look at that Philadelphia corridor. That is a just blue dot around Philadelphia.
That is.
So we need to get, not rapping on The Lion King, but we do need to bring it back to Lion King.
Bring it back
I
to the
feel
Lion
like
King.
Yeah.
I
Although we did talk about the Lion King for 58 of God's minutes.
We did, which is a lot of God's minutes. Between the three of us, that's 3 hours.
True.
I don't think that's how time works.
I think it is.
It doesn't stack like that. Like
I've
we
been
didn't
to church on Sunday where they're like, in the past week, we volunteered 30,000 hours of time to community service. It's like, whatever. Fine.
Yes.
I'll give it to you. That's not how that works, but fine.
That's man hours.
They just say hours.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's what they mean is man hours.
Whatever. We've given 3 man hours to discussion of The Lion King.
I mean,
feel like that's
have
our
we,
civic
though?
duty.
Has this really like shaved time off our lives? No,
Is
this
that
has
what
been an
man hours
incredibly
are?
pleasant discussion between friends.
Every hour you spend serving in the community shaves an hour off your life?
I mean, I would prefer to be talking to Isaac about the Lion King than doing community service. Straight up.
That is true.
There's some community service that's very rewarding. I do feel like we're helping a recovering criminal since he lives in a crack house. But
It's
some
not
Breaking
X gonna give
Bad
it to you?
stuff
No
over
more.
there.
Isaac gonna give it to you.
I've thought about it a lot, Ethan. You know how one of the philosophies on this show is ask for what you want?
Yeah.
We need like a follow-up to that because X gonna give it to you.
I listened to that song today.
As did I. What are the odds?
Did you really?
1-to-1 are the odds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. X gonna give it to you, man. If ever there was a song I wish was clean.
It's not really about rock and roll, despite the fact that he says, first we're gonna rock. Then we gonna roll.
Then we let it drop, and then some syllables happen after that. X gon' give it to you. He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. Knock, knock. Open up the door. It's real with the non-stop pop, pop, and stainless steel.
Dang, you're hitting it.
Dang.
Dang. This is the most profane song
Ever.
It's not the least appropriate DMX song though. You ever listen to Where the Hood At? That's a song that has like a banger of a chorus, and you're like, yeah, okay, DMX, what's up? And he's like, homophobia is what's up.
Whoa, my dude.
You sit there and listen, and you're like, whoa. That was kind of a reach there, DMX.
Mr. X, you have not given it to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not what I wanted you to give to me. Now, Party Up, on the other hand, that song might be clean, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I don't know the verses. All I know is y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here.
I need 5 10s. I still don't have my 5 10s.
Oh, I didn't give those to you? I have no idea.
You don't have 5 10s?
No, nothing's a 10, man. There's not been a perfect movie yet.
5 10s from the desk of Ethan Edgeshill. An article by Tyler Carlin.
Is that my homework assignment?
Nope. It's my homework assignment I'm doing right now. Ethan, 5 10s. Birdman.
Nah.
Ethan,
Nah.
5 10s.
Nah.
Interstellar.
Nope. Negative.
Ethan, 5 10s. Jurassic Park. Ethan, 5 10s. The Force Awakens. Ethan, 5 10s.
I would call maybe.
Nope, I got it. Hail Caesar.
No, Hail Caesar's not a 10.
I agree, but this is Ethan's 5
Are
10s.
you kidding me? Hail Caesar isn't even on my top 10, dude. That movie's a mess. It's a mess that I love so dearly I cannot even describe how much, but it is.
That needs to be a 10 for you. Get out of the freaking
That's
art
not a
world
10 for me.
avant-garde rankings. Give yourself a 10 because you like the movie.
I like plenty of movies that aren't that good.
That's okay.
That
It's
doesn't
not
make it a
about what
10.
the critics think. It's about what Ethan thinks.
Yeah, but I literally, even when I watch a Hail Caesar, I'm like, this is not a perfect movie.
But it's perfect for you. Oh my gosh, I need to get you to gush.
Like making trouble up in hotel rooms, baby, I'm perfect. Baby, I'm perfect for you.
Oh, is that where you were going with that?
Yeah, One Direction, man. I realized that there was like 8 more lines before they got there, so I wasn't going to sing all of them.
Yeah.
Ethan's 5 10s music edition.
Not
Tame
perfect
Impala.
by One Direction.
Tame Impala.
I hate Tame
The
Impala.
Violent Femmes.
Feels like we only go backwards. More like feels like you only make ass songs.
Who, Tame Impala?
Yeah, Tame Impala is the people that wrote Feels Like We Only Go Backwards. That's their hit.
U2.
I mean, Joshua Tree slaps. I don't know. I feel like attacked right now for no
The
reason.
Mountain Goats.
I'm seeing the Mountain Goats in concert tomorrow.
I'm jelly.
Is there a Mountain Goats record that's a 10? No.
Why can't you let something be a 10?
Oh, there's plenty of music that's 10s.
Name a 10 song.
What does that even mean?
A song that's a 10.
Oh, there's lots of songs by the Mountain Goats that are 10s.
Oh.
There's just not a record.
But there's no 10 movies. There's no movies that are 10s.
There's no movies that are perfect, man. There has not been a perfect movie.
I just think you got the wrong standards, man.
I mean, that's fine. You can think that all you want, but I'm 50% of the show, and that's how I feel.
If you wanna live your life through the eyes of Isaac Carlson, you must first accept that the way you approach film is fundamentally different than what you want it to be.
It's not how I want it to be. It's not fundamentally, because I do not want to walk out of this movie, the Lion King remake, and be like, yeah, that was a 10.
But Isaac doesn't think that, so it's good.
True.
I want you to be able to watch Lilo and Stitch, Ethan, and be like,
I will never
This
watch
shit.
Lilo and Stitch and be like, this shirt is a 10. Never.
Yeah.
Lilo
Like,
and
oh,
Stitch is
man.
a movie that I do not get.
Nani struggles. Oh my goodness. Stitch realizing he doesn't have a family. Dang. Lilo's
Hannah.
getting taken away.
you know what I wish I could enjoy the way that the people enjoy?
Huh.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Hamilton.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, I have never gotten into as much as other people.
Ethan,
but I respect
you will
it.
never be satisfied. All right, I had to say it. Say what you were saying, Isaac.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That was
Tyler?
it.
Because I don't feel the need to be attacked right now on my own podcast.
I just said you'll never be satisfied.
With what?
You'll never get a 10.
With a 10 what?
10 movie. Anyway,
I don't
Isaac, you were
want
saying
one.
about Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah, just what I was saying was the Last Airbender was something that I can respect, and I enjoy, but is not something that I obsess about like some people. Like
I know, and I
met people that have like tattoos for it, super into it. I'm like, not that big a fan.
I know. I wish I liked it as much as the people did. Quick question, Isaac. Would you get a Lion King tattoo, specifically Rafiki's drawing of Simba?
I'm
If you were the tattoo getting type.
Oh, if I was the tattoo.
Rafiki's, hold on, I just want to put it in here as the only one who has tattoos, I think.
Yeah,
Rafiki's drawing of Simba is about the only Disney thing I would get as a tattoo.
I think I would.
You wouldn't get the Rebel Alliance?
That's not Disney's thing.
It is now.
Okay, but like, you know what I mean, Tyler.
All right.
Actually, honestly, I would get the Rebel Alliance tattooed. I actually thought about doing it at one point.
Really?
I like the symbol, man. It's a good symbol.
It'd be cool.
You know, Rebel Alliance is a good symbol. You know who's got a better symbol? The Empire.
They don't, actually.
Look at it's on my socks.
Which one's the pointy one?
Hold on.
The Rebel's the pointy one, right?
Yeah.
This bad boy right here, that's the Empire.
No, that's the Rebel Alliance.
Get the front door out of town. Are you serious?
The pointy one, right?
Imperial
The
one's
pointy
the
one.
circle one with the notches in it.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Upon
Yeah, Rebel
further
Alliance is the one I
reflection,
would get, for sure.
I've decided I agree.
Yeah, no, that'd be the Star Wars thing I got as a tattoo. I don't know, maybe like a Luxo ball.
I don't think
gun to
I've
my
got-
head, like I gotta get a Disney tattoo.
You would get the Luxo ball?
I'm trying to think of something that's representative of Toy Story.
Yeah, I'm
a
more
sheriff
of a
badge.
Disney guy than a Pixar guy. I feel like
I'm
I
more
would
of a
do
Pixar
like
guy than a Disney guy.
That's fair.
89 days out of 10.
fair. I would probably get like just the simple hidden Mickey, like the Mickey somewhere.
I would get just a clownfish.
like a realistic looking one. Be like,
No,
yeah.
no. I mean, it would look like. I mean, I'm trying to think of how you would do a clownfish in like American traditional tattoo style that completely does not include the color orange.
Well, there's black clownfish.
True.
That's not Nemo though. That's not a Pixar tattoo.
No, that's not.
Nemo's not a black clownfish.
Would you get a hippo tang to imply just keep swimming? You know, the whole trust your struggle, you'll get through it if you're going through hell kind of thing.
I mean, probably, but I would probably just I would probably do a little scroll with "just keep swimming" written underneath it.
Oh, see, I would want it to tell the story without the words. That's just me though.
That's fair.
I know sometimes I ask Vaishon to do graphics for me and I'll ask for words and he'll be like, I hate putting words in these things. I'm like, Vaishon, it's a binary review. Part of it is like a headline. I need the headline.
There's just it's just part of the style that I like. But I would do I also am over the point of having to explain my tattoos to people.
So what's the one on your leg mean?
It's none of your business.
All right, so we gotta rank everything. We gotta put it on the board and all that jazz.
Next time I do an episode, which could be, I mean, I'll do an episode in 2 weeks. But next time Tyler and I do an episode together, I'll give you my tens.
I need a next movie we do together, other than the one I get to gush over next week, because next week is Spider-Verse, and you get to hear me straight up gush and have my whole world rocked by Ethan not gushing 1 week from today.
It's a very good movie. I just don't feel the need to say, "Oh my god, it's the best movie ever made."
I just want you to
Oh my
just
God.
one time. I want to review a movie that you have to say that.
Okay, then let's review some movies that I like. Then
I've said for the past 3 days is I want Ethan to gush. All right, so The Lion King. Dang, Toy Story 1 has really fallen on our ranking, and it's not better than Toy Story. Dropping down.
Hold on. I gushed over Interstellar, and you spent the entire episode trying to make me feel like an idiot for it, which I did not do to you with Spider-Verse.
We'll see next week. Into the Emperor's New
We
Groove,
already
Aladdin.
We already recorded the episode. It's already done.
We'll leave that one up to the fates. See what the fates say about that. Is it better than the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Is it better than Emperor's New Groove?
No.
Oh no.
Oh, we have a spot then.
Cool.
Wait,
Even
what
a
was below
blank
the Hunger
spot.
Games?
Lego Batman.
It's just crazy how the same.
Yeah.
It's a very similar story to the one that's so beloved, but for some reason, a few differences in how they approach things, a bit of changing of timing, and execution of score can completely rattle it.
Well, not to mention it is a visual medium, and the visual part of it is 100% different.
Also, if
Yes.
you had never had the original Lion King, you would love this one.
Possibly,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's a good question.
No, it
That's an
absolutely would be.
interesting
I absolutely 100% believe this about all the remakes because it would give you the same songs you love in pretty much the same fashion. If you had never had the original Lion King to compare this to, this is why I think James Earl Jones is a bad call. If you've never had the original Lion King to compare this to, you would love this movie. You being the casual Disney stan, and there's like, I don't like the remakes.
I don't know. Or would you Wrinkle in Time this thing?
Yeah.
No, because Wrinkle in Time was apparently a trash fire.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
I did.
But like, look at the negative reviews on this movie. Ashley Stevens, despite the superstar talent of the cast and stunning presentation, misses some of the heart to put the original into pop culture canon. The one I read is it's like the Disney sequels. Claudia Puig, where the animated original had an endearing cheerism, anthropomorphism, was wide eyes and cute expressions. This lacks that. Compared to the original. Anthony Lane, compared to the original. Arturo Magnana, compared to the original. Justin Chang, compared to the original. And Numpara Chopra, compared to the original. Tori Brazier, compared to the original. That's the only bad thing people can say about this, is that it's not as good as the original one. It gives you the same songs, the exact same songs with the exception of Be Prepared, which I think is still a superior version. At me. Please, God, at me about that. I would love to have this conversation.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah,
He puts
either.
more emotion into the song. He puts more of the correct emotion into the song. Yes.
No.
Have you listened to the original song?
Yeah, I
Have
listened
you-
to it.
have you
I literally
listened-
listened to it on the way home, and then listened to this one again and said, "Yeah, I'm right. Cool."
Oof.
bad for
That's
one
probably the
of-
strongest.
Love New Scar. Love New Scar. Just like I loved Hot Jafar. I will maintain this. Hot Jafar in the Lion King or the Aladdin remake was perfect for the part. Everybody who thinks so is incorrect. You're asking for a villain that would not fit the movie, and you were asking for a villain that didn't fit the movie the first time.
Jafar was I like Jafar.
I like both Jafars.
Hot Jafar would have fit better in both movies. The soft
I don't think so.
snake oil salesman is what Jafar is supposed to be. Just like this Scar is what Scar is supposed to be. It's what the character was asking for the whole time. No discredit to Jeremy Irons. I love you, Jeremy Irons. You were really bad as Alfred. Sorry. But like, your Scar was great. This is better. You were really bad as Alfred. I just want to maintain you were what was wrong with that movie, Jeremy Irons. Sorry. He was really bad as Alfred. I'm still mad. It's been like 4 years.
He was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie too. Not even credited.
Wow.
Just wanted to share that little piece of trivia for you. All right, so we're on the big board. Lion King, The Breakfast is grub. Slimy yet satisfying. It's egg whites.
Literally, I just like, when they did the grub scene in this movie, I looked at Kate and I was
It's
like,
egg whites. No, it's egg whites. Listen, because it's almost as good as the original thing because it provides all the meat and protein of the original, but it doesn't have egg yolks, which is really what makes eggs freaking awesome.
I can get with that.
Yolks.
Anyway, so I when they did the grub scene in this movie, I looked at Kate and I just went, I love the special. And then made this slurping noise, and I was just like, this is all I can think of is Emperor's New Groove, because I've seen this way more recently than The Lion King.
Slimy yet
Emmanuel Baez.
satisfying.
The ultimate example of the current state of Hollywood commercial cinema, which continues to sell 3D technology as if it's really improved, with nothing more than a blatant excuse to increase the price of tickets. This is the first review I've seen that has not complained about the original version.
More complain about a way
Actually,
of
this
watching
one,
the movie that we didn't do.
Liam DeBruyne says, when Donald Glover's the leading man and he's boring, you know something is wrong. The
So
only
big
reason
ass
people don't
with
like this movie is the
of
original version.
century.
That's because it's inherent into retelling the story that it has to be compared to.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't separate the two because
No, I'm with
It's
that. I
tied up with
100%
it.
get that. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that, like, you would not look poorly on this movie if you did not have the original. This would do the
I
same
tell you
thing
what,
for you
I
the
don't-
original did.
I tell you what, I'm gonna have a kid here in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, please,
and what
God,
I'll
show
do
her this
is-
one first.
I'm not gonna show her the animated one first, and I bet she still likes the animated one better.
I bet you will too.
She might, but that's not what I'm talking about. Raise her in a world in which the animated one never exists for 5 years. I dare you. And see what happens.
I'll try.
Like
No
5 years after
guarantees.
she comprehends movies.
If Isaac moves near me, it's gonna be a challenge not to show Lion King in my house.
Somebody do this. Please, God, experiment on your child and let me know in 8 years or whatever. Raise your kid in a world where the only Aladdin and Lion King are the remakes and see what happens. I am so curious.
I think if you do it with the child will like the animated film better. Like
Yeah,
9 times
almost
out of 10.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Although
kids are
Aladdin is
weak.
pretty
Because
color
kids are
classics.
wrong. Live action's better than animated 9 times out of 10. I maintain this. It is real people doing real work on a real screen with a real camera. I will prefer that every time. I'm not going to apologize for it any more than I already have.
I think
This is an exception
think
because
you're
nobody's
wrong.
real and
yeah,
it
I
is
think
still
that's
just
wrong.
animated.
I think it's
I just think you're wrong.
Yeah, I think the form fits the function. If the story fits better with the medium of animation, then that's what'll make the best movie.
There is scarce a story that I think that could not be told better with live action. I think Toy Story is one of those.
Yeah.
For sure. Because we've seen live action movies with toys in them and they're terrifying. Like Child's Play, like every Chucky iteration is absolutely terrifying.
It's crazy, but though you say 9 times out of 10 animation is not as good, but let's take the character of Spider-Man. There have been over 10 movies starring Spider-Man in the past 20 years, and the best one is animated.
I don't think the best one's animated. I disagree with that. Even when I was a kid, I preferred live action movies.
Well, yeah, but how? I mean,
That just seems like you're limiting your ability to watch cinema.
I mean, I'm not. I'm still watching the animated movies. We just did an animated movie yesterday that it comes out next week that you claim is so much better. But like sitting there going, I think if you give the child the animated version, they'll prefer it. That's just like an unnecessary thing. Like I think that you should let the kid decide for itself then. Because I decided for myself and I've been just absolutely ostracized for it the whole time we've been doing this show.
I just don't understand how you don't like animated movies. It's just
I just like live action movies better.
Right, but that's such like a weird way of thinking about it. That
It's not,
one
though.
can be better than the other.
It's not though, because you people think that animated movies are better every single time. Because Isaac was asked to list 5 of his 10s, and they were all animated.
Okay,
They're not better every
Because
time.
Isaac thinks
but
the
there
5
are
greatest
10s
movies
that
ever
are
made are animated movies, and that's
I didn't
not
see the
the
5
case.
best made My job is to look at these movies,
And I'm
Ethan.
with that. I get that that's your job.
The ones that I think are the best are the ones that I look at the most. I haven't even seen like Casablanca. How can I reference Casablanca?
Casablanca's better than The Lion King. Let's just make that 100% clear.
It's on my free time. I don't want to go watch like Casablanca.
I do. That's my thing. Is I would love to watch Casablanca right now. It's wild that you mentioned Casablanca because that was the only thing I could think about earlier. Was like I would love to watch a movie like Casablanca right now.
Yeah, or like
I just think it's interesting that like I don't think that animated movies are better a point on every time. I think that animated movies can be just as good as live action movies.
Here's a perfect example of one that wouldn't translate well. Alien would not make a better animated movie than the live action one. That's clear.
I would agree with that.
But that's because it's a story that's meant to be in a realistic setting where you're supposed to envision yourself as the character in this horrifying situation. Whereas when animated movies do something well, they're fabricating a different world that's supposed to feel surreal.
Right, and when you can get a live-action movie that still fabricates a world that feels surreal, I prefer that to an animated movie doing what animation does, or a live-action movie doing what live-action's supposed to do, which is feel real, or animation's supposed to feel surreal. When you can get that key point where they mix, when you get a live-action movie that still manages to create a world around you, that is what I love. That is why I love movies like Interstellar.
So let me get this straight. If Da Vinci had just taken a picture of Mona Lisa, that would have been better than
That is
the painting?
absolutely not what I'm saying.
That is what you're saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
That the portraits of the presidents that are done on cameras are inherently better than the portraits done on canvas.
That is absolutely not what I'm saying. Especially since the portraits are designed to then be translated to paintings.
But the movies are designed to be animation. They're designed to be animated. They're designed to be drawn.
Yeah, when people decide to sit down and create an animated movie,
yes,
they're
I understand.
Believe
it or not, I understand the process of making an animated movie. They decide at the beginning it's going to be animated. They don't get halfway through it and go, maybe we should draw this.
I just don't know that you do understand.
I do absolutely understand that. I'm saying that if you leave me to pick my top 10 movies, if you leave me to watch a movie on my own, it is scarce that I'm going to pick an animated movie.
Okay, well then what you're saying is you don't like the stories that are typically associated with animated movies. It's not animation you don't like, it's the stories that are connected with the
I've
medium.
been trying to say that for 6 months now, and nobody listens to me, and they're just like, either doesn't like animated movies, his opinions are worthless.
I just can't. I can't imagine your approach. I just can't do it.
Like I understand it the way I explained it.
I understand it the way you explained it, but that doesn't mean I understand that way. Like I can't put myself in that frame of mind.
It means that I would rather watch a story like Casablanca, like Rear Window, like The Godfather, like The Shawshank Redemption, like Jurassic Park, than I would rather watch a story like Coco. That is what I am saying with this, and it's what I've been saying the whole time, and that is unacceptable to you people.
Because Coco's so good.
It's a good movie. It's not the Fortnite. Godfather.
Well, that like Godfather's like a drama.
Yes, dramas
You
are
like
better.
drama more. I wouldn't say that's universally true.
I
wouldn't
don't
say
think
that's
it's universally true.
objectively
I think
true
it's
either.
true for me. Just because
Yeah,
the movie's
that's
sad
fine.
doesn't make it bad.
So is Godfather a 10 out of 10?
Probably. That's one of the few ones that I would put on that list of a movie that I could take almost no issue with whatsoever.
I just think about The Force Awakens a lot more than I think about The Godfather.
I watched The Godfather 1 and then watched The Godfather 2. And by the time I got to The Godfather 2, I'm just like, yeah, I've got enough of this. At some point- at some point
they're
I'll see
3
the
hours long, dude. You can't do that back to back. It's not advisable. They're not
It
Toy
was like-
Story.
It was like one day I watched Godfather, like, and then the next day I like watched The Godfather 2 throughout the day, and then I just haven't done the third one.
See, when we did the Toy Story movies on this show, we did Toy Story 1 on one
Yeah.
day, Toy Story 2 on the next day, Toy Story 3 on the next day. By that point, I never wanted to hear Tom Hanks' voice ever again. I never wanted to see another Pixar movie. I was so burnt on that animation style, that kitschy thing, the super sweet, sappy storylines. I was so burnt on that whole thing.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't think it's for everyone. I think I would get burnt out watching like horror movies day after day. Like, that sounds atrocious to me.
But,
Yeah.
I still like these movies. I liked this movie. I like the original Lion King. I liked Aladdin. I like the original Aladdin. I liked Spider-Verse. I didn't think it was the greatest movie ever made, and somehow that's not acceptable to some people.
Yeah, it's not
Some
acceptable.
people being Tyler. I watched Toy Story 4. I loved it the
imagine
most.
that
I
being
like Toy
so
Story
good.
4 the most out of any other Toy Story movies, and literally every human being has told me I'm wrong, but I'm sitting there going, I like a recent animated movie better than another animated movie. Everybody's like, you're stupid.
I just don't know if you've seen Toy Story 3.
I have, and Toy Story 4 is better.
Toy Story 4, I'll say it, it exhausted me. I just didn't love it. I was so, like, by the
To be
end
fair,
of
I
it.
still have not listened to the episode with you and Seamus to figure out what you guys even said about it on my own show.
My favorite way to describe Toy Story 4 was that it was a great epilogue to Toy Story 3. That's like, this trilogy stood on
Unlike-
its own. Yeah.
Right. Very unlike the epilogue to Harry Potter.
19 years later,
Yeah.
everybody's
Albus
fucked.
Severus.
Yeah.
Look at this. Everyone's got kids, even Draco Malfoy.
That's when you needed that app everyone's obsessed with. That would have been a better technology to have.
The face app thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that only has one setting, which is make me look like I'm 90.
And apparently the Russians take your pictures when you use that app.
Oh
and
my
I've seen
God.
Stranger Things
I'm just
3,
not worried
so
about the Russians.
I'm so sorry, Hawkins,
All right,
Indiana.
it is 2:07 into our recording. We need to wrap up.
Okay.
Okay.
Wrap the show, Ethan.
Okay, you can find us on social media. Isaac, where can we find you? At WotsoVideos everywhere, right?
Yes. YouTube primarily. I also appreciate a follow on Instagram. And come and join my Discord.
Yeah, join Isaac's Discord.
My fun people, Pixels and Ines, are overhauling it right now. So it should be a even
Those
better
are
place
also
soon.
our fun people. That's
Yeah.
so wild. I forgot that they're your moderators.
Yes. They're so nice.
That's our
So shout
mod
out to
squad.
them.
I love those girls.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I get to see Pixels in like a week and a half.
What, really?
I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
She's coming to hang out in Cincinnati. At least she said she was. I don't know if that's still going to happen, but supposedly
cool.
I get to see Pixels in like a week and a half. Anyway, I'm on the internet. I just got a new Instagram handle at Edgehill Photos on Instagram, and I'm still WoW Now on Twitter for now. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. But we'll see. As of this recording, I'm still WoW Now on Twitter. And Tyler's at AmeriCarlin on both Twitter and Instagram. We're on everywhere at Bacon and Eggs Pod, and Baconandeggsmedia is where you can find both of our shows, including That's What I'm Talking About, which came out yesterday with 4 episodes.
I hope you
Great.
enjoyed them, and I hope you listened to them.
Yeah, so that's super exciting. Super excited to launch that show. We're really jazzed. Isaac, if you want to guest on that show, I'd advise you to start reading Lord of the Rings.
Ooh. That sounds difficult. Maybe
It's
I
a
need
chapter a week, Isaac. It's a book. You
chapter a
graduated
week.
college.
I was a math major. I avoided books. There was
Were
no.
you really?
Yeah, I was a math major. So I didn't have to take an English class. So
That's wild, because I was a language major. I still had to take math classes.
well, I examined out of it. So
Oh, yeah, I
was
could
lucky
have,
enough.
but I chose to take math classes because they
Isn't
were
your
easy.
job like video essays?
Yes, I've been writing 2 3 to 5 page papers every week for 3 years. But I never wrote it for a class in the last few years.
Wild.
Yeah, crazy how it works.
All right,
All right.
wrapping the show.
Anyway, I'm Ethan Etchill. He's been Tyler Carlin. He's been Isaac Carlson. And until next week, arrivederci.
All we need to do is find something that's like big and juicy. Why is everybody looking at me?